feature presentation.
Ton Pentre is a village in the Rhondda Valley in the county of Rhondda in Wales. Ton Pentre's name comes from the local farm known as a ton meaning the meadow. The history of Ton Pentre goes back to the Iron Age with a Celtic settlement called Meadow. The 1847 tithe map shows the land was owned by Crochet Bailey.
Crochet Bailey was part of the Crochet family who lived in Merthyr. He helped run his rich uncle's ironworks.
He became rich and bought large areas of farmland in the Rhondda Valley. His family is commemorated in the street names of Ton Pentre. His name and his son's is commemorated in Crochet and Bailey Street. His daughter-in-law was Countess Katina of Meadow. One granddaughter was Clara, who married William James Gordon Cannon. The other granddaughter was Augusta. Crochet Bailey lived at Cranbright House. There are two streets called Queen Street and Victoria Street. We thought that Ton Pentre was built during Victorian times. We asked the question, what was life like in Ton Pentre during Victorian times? Ton Pentre was developed as a village because of David Davis of Llandinam. David Davis became known as Davis the Ocean after the name of his company, the Ocean Coal Company. He opened the main colliery at Ton Pentre in 1864. Victorian times needed steam for energy, and good quality steam coal was found at Meadow colliery. However, David Davis ran out of money to pay his workers who were digging the mine. It was only because the mine worked for free for a week that they found coal. David Davis had Barry docks built to export his Rhondda coal. It was one of the best boats in the world and cost £2 million. A statue of him holding the plans of Barry docks still stands in Barry and at Llandinam. What about local people? David Griffiths worked at Meadow colliery. He is standing on the left in the back row with a group of other Meadow colliery workers. He was born in Trevegus in Montgomeryshire in 1853. In 1882, he moved with his wife Mary to Ton Pentre to work in the Meadow colliery, as did many families in search of jobs. In the 1891 census, David and Mary Griffiths were living at 12 Incline Road, probably now called Ton Row. Mining was a very dangerous occupation. We visited the site of the old Meadow colliery to find evidence. Very little of the colliery can be found. Only a stone wall and the remains of an old bridge across the river. The coal trams came down the incline and along Dinham Park Avenue, named after David Davis' village of Llandinam. The trams went under a road bridge and the coal was taken to Barry docks to be exported all over the world. In 1896, there were 1,155 men employed. This fell to 315 by 1938. The colliery closed in 1948. The site now has many new houses built upon it. What was life like for David Griffiths and his family? Photographs of the Gen Square show that Ton Pentre was a busy town full of people and life. Ton Pentre provided all that was needed for daily life. Kelly's directory in 1901 shows it had 8 butchers, 2 dressmakers, 3 hairdressers, 9 grocers, 3 greengrocers, 10 shopkeepers, 6 tailors, 4 bootmakers, 4 public houses, a blacksmith, 3 builders, a farmer, a newsagent, a chemist, and the Ton Cooperative Society. Today it is easy for people to travel to the supermarket and out of town shopping, so most of the Victorian shops have been demolished. David Griffith could have visited the Meadow and Eastern Workmen's Institute. It was named after the local collieries. The miners of Meadow and Eastern pits paid for the institute. It was officially opened in September 1895 at the cost of £4,000. The hall had newsrooms, a library and a committee room. The workmen wanted to educate themselves in their spare time. The original building was extended with a hall in 1904 that showed silent films. The building next to the institute was owned by the Crochet Bailey estate. It was used for collecting rents of houses built on Crochet Bailey's land. Religion would have been important to David Griffith's family. The chapel would have provided entertainment, for example, a choir. Bethesda Chapel was a Welsh language congregational chapel built in 1877 and enlarged in 1906. The building seated 1,000 people. This tells us that many people still spoke Welsh in Ton Pentre at this time. The chapel still stands today, but it is in a state of disrepair. However, the English language was growing in the area. An English congregational chapel was built across the street. This chapel is still open. Other chapels were Jerusalem, which has been demolished. Kaisalem, which is now flat, and Hebron, where only the schoolroom still stands. David Davis was a religious man and was against alcohol. His name is commemorated at Bethany Chapel. He may have done this to influence the people of Ton Pentre. The chapel is now closed and in a state of disrepair. Tir Eglwys was the original name for St. John's Church. Eglwys was the Welsh word for church. A place of worship has been there since about 700 AD. Only the bell tower of the original church remains. Ton also had another large church called St. Ed's. This was paid for by Crochet Bailey in 1881. It had seats for 550 people. Bailey laid the foundation stone for the church on Thursday, June 17, 1880. The church was demolished in the 1980s and replaced by flats for the elderly. It is now named Derry. David and Mary Griffith's children probably attended Ton Pentre Junior School. They were Sarah, Mary and Elizabeth. We played some games that they would have played, such as hook and wheel. Our visits to Big Pit, the Rhondda Heritage Park and around Ton Pentre helped us find out what life was like in the 19th century. From the meadow to the ocean.